kick off?
Yeah, just go for it.
Right. So, another IT tech craze, AI.
Okay.
Everybody talking about it.
In my eyes, it's probably the most exciting thing to happen to us since the internet.
Yeah, obviously we're right at the start of this journey, but we've got all these technologies that are coming out, and we talked about it before, the Gartner hype cycle, right?
Yeah.
So we've got this, the peak of inflated expectations, and I think that's been all this sort of hype around AI. And now we're in the trough of disillusionment. I mean, I absolutely love that phrase, but it's true, right? It's like, it's here, it's great. What are we going to do?
There was the panic of, we're all going to lose our jobs, AI is going to take over everything, versus actually, it's helped me be more productive, but maybe it's not exactly what we thought it was at the moment, like you said, which is taking us into that trough of disillusionment. I think the thing we're seeing, though, is the adoption of it has been massive. We're relatively early in Copilot for businesses and the adoption. Like we've said, Microsoft is already adding features and putting more into it. The Excel features have come live now. The time saving that's going to give for for analyzing data and drawing conclusions from it, even just formatting it. I spend my life formatting spreadsheets to try and draw data from it. The fact that you would be able to drop and draw conclusions from that now is going to be so much more useful.
And especially for those that, aren't in Excel day to day. If someone in finance, this is all pretty standard, easy stuff.
Yeah.
But, if I'm in marketing, I don't use Excel on a day-to-day basis, but actually I want to get some insightful information from this data, but I don't want to spend 3 hours Googling how do I do pivot tables.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is really helpful, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point. The people that aren't in these programs day to day, there is a good reason I'm not in finance. So, the fact that I want to be able to draw some conclusions from some data shouldn't go against me because I chose to go into a sales role.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the tools that is live now in Teams is that I can join a meeting, I can record the meeting, and Copilot will give me my meeting notes at the end with actions and with discussion points and make sure it captures all those things. That is a task removed from me from my day job. It's Copilot, not autopilot. So, you need to check it, make sure it has captured things. And I think for the first couple of weeks I was using it, I was still making all my notes and I was comparing, and I was like, actually, it's picked up everything,
Ask it questions like, we talked about this. Who said that again? And it can give me that information.
So good for that. There is only a finite amount of hours in the day. I wanted to attend this today, want to be able to have these discussions, but at the same time, my team is still working. The ability to literally be in two places at once, in a way, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Can't wait to meet Digital Mario.
I wonder if it'll put our avatars in there.
Yeah, it probably will come to that at some point, right? You'll have a meeting full of augmented digital avatars.
It'd be worrying when people actually prefer my augmented Mario than the real one.
Yeah, exactly. And, it will get to that. I don't know. Have you seen the film Her?
Yeah.
And it's like, I watched that film years ago and I thought, like, God, could you ever imagine that? What a weird world that would be. Actually, we're getting closer to something like that. Like, operating systems are going to integrate AI and they're going to be more conversational. Imagine when there's that digital copy of you in the meeting.
Yeah.
It's
and interacting on your behalf. That's where it gets spicy, I think.
Yeah, I might get promoted from that because who knows, it might do better than me.
In my mind, I know previously where I've written stuff in other documents, but actually now in Word, rather than staring at a blank screen for half an hour, I can say, right, I've got a few bullet points to answer this question. Can you get me started?
Yeah.
Or, can you look through some old RFP documents in SharePoint and find where I've answered a question similar before and bring that information in?
Yeah.
And that alone is just saving me so much time.
Microsoft have referred to it as the blank page moment. It just helps you get over that, doesn't it? We had a customer issue that we were looking at with a partner, and there was some querying between licensing that he didn't think he'd used and he had. And I was able to summarize 6 months worth of emails and go through and look at all these discussions and bring it through and put a document together for him that showed all the communications in about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Previously that would have taken me hours.
Just to find the emails.
Exactly. You'd have been scrolling through, you would have people coming over to your desk and interrupting and things like that. Like, that could have taken hours to a day to sort. 45 minutes, I was able to go back to him. We made the conversation really clear and we were able to come to a resolution because of it so much sooner. So that's such a nice customer experience for him.
Yeah, and that whole summarize feature in Outlook, being able to take a chain that's been going on for 6 months and say, do you know what, I've just been copied in, just summarize it for me.
The good thing about Microsoft 365 is that it all works within your company's data graph. So it doesn't release your personal information back out to the internet. So it doesn't use that to train its large language models.
Surprised today how many organizations that we talk to, it's like, look, these tools are great, but before we do anything, have you got an AI policy in place?
Exactly. Even if they haven't got an AI policy or they haven't told their staff members to use it, they're using it.
Yeah, because we're in tech, we get it, right? Everything I put into ChatGPT and other large language models is going to train the model. For the everyday person, they don't know that. So it's really important to not discourage the use of these tools because frankly, every single SaaS program, every single application these days can have an element of AI going forward, whether it's real or just marketing.
Because everyone
markets it, right? Yeah, and I think this is where AI is probably going to get exploited in the future around the notion of hallucinations. So for those that don't know, hallucination in AI terms is giving you information that it believes to be true, but actually it's based on false information. And that's why, again, it's to your point before, it's the Copilot. It's not to drive, it's just helping you. But I do think certainly in the public sort of domain and those sort of LLMs, people will be feeding them with incorrect information. Think about propaganda for elections and things like that.
You've already seen companies trying to discredit each other by getting their own co-pilots to say how useful they aren't and things like that. They go on there and they're like, tell me your faults, and there's always going to be some gimmicky stuff and people doing things like that. But I think the coding that goes into these is writing those kind of parameters around checking the information it gets and sourcing and things like that. So
it's opened up a whole new industry, right? Just around the prompt engineering. I mean, who knew what that even was 12 months ago?
And for the people that are saying it's going to take our jobs, it's going to create new jobs like prompt engineers and things like that. And the lighter took out the stick and stone, right? So there's always going to be new jobs created from new technology.
Absolutely it's the evolution.
Exactly.
And then look, you've got Copilot for Dynamics, Sales Copilot, Security Copilot, which is just in its infancy. Really interesting for organizations that they've done a really good job at embracing Defender, Stack. They might have Sentinel in place. They don't have a SOC. They're a limited team, but actually that Copilot for security piece just gives you that insight. You've had an incident or there's an abnormality, say, right, can you tell me what's happened? Can you correlate, give me the chain of events? And Copilot for security will do that. And I think it will get to the point that you'll then just be telling it the remediation action. So there's an issue with this machine. Can you take it off the network? Shut it down.
I think people forget how big a security vendor Microsoft is. Anyway, so like you're adding a Copilot to that service that they already offer, which is a lot bigger than people realize, and all of a sudden you've got a really effective security tool.
Exactly. And I think the one that's going to be really interesting is Copilot for Azure. We're an MSP. We have some customers that don't have an IT team, and we will essentially look after it all. But then there's other customers where it's very much that sort of co-managed environment. We're managing bits, they're managing bits. We're working together as one team. We live and breathe Azure day in, day out. They don't necessarily do that, or they've just started the journey. And whilst we'll help them get up to speed, Copilot for Azure just makes so many of those common tasks really easy. So they want to spin up a server, or can you reconfigure this VPN gateway for me, for example? Gone are the days of 3 hours on Google and try and test it. You just ask Copilot for Azure to do that for you. And knowing that the output will generally be in line with Microsoft's best practice.
That certainly brings a bit of it's going to replace us fear, doesn't it? Because, all of a sudden people without the knowledge and experience can start getting involved in cloud computing a lot sooner and a lot faster. But I think it's great to give people the access to that and then make businesses more productive, more flexible because of that as well. So I think we're going to see more businesses getting up to date with technology sooner because of it.
Absolutely. And I think adoption is a really interesting one. So we've done a few events together. We've spoken to numerous people around kind of where they are on the journey. And I think there's sort of two camps. There's those that are, quietly interested on the sideline, but waiting for other people to make a move or looking for some guidance on sort of how to adopt it. And then there's others that have gone out, bought a load of licenses, and are now kind of, back to the previous phrase, in that sort of trough of disillusionment, like, oh, okay.
Is it doing what we think it would do?
Where do I go this? How do I measure the return on investment? This is not a cheap tool. Is it going to save me money? How do I measure that? Where's the business benefit? And I think where we've been trying to work with clients to really help maximize that is around this notion of a managed pilot. Let's take a step back. Let's pick a cross-section of your business across different departments, and let's take you through the process. Let's do some training. Let's work together on use cases. Let's look at some of your business processes and see where Copilot can complement that. And really the output is you've got a group of people who are champions across your organization that are then almost feeding into that business case. So in marketing, here's all the great stuff we've done with Copilot. This is how it's going to help us.
And people adopting it now are going to take that as it's worth it for that alone kind of thing. And then you're going to build into the other features like getting started sooner. And you're just going to really see the benefit of adding it to your workload.
Absolutely.